Okay, let's call the town council meeting of October 14, 2025 to order. Jen, will you take roll?
Councilmember Alberish is absent. Councilmember Brown?
Here.
Councilmember Gold? Councilmember Wall? Mayor Domkowski?
Here. Mayor Pro Tem Gold, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, wonderful, thank you. All right, moving on to public comment. Persons wishing to address the council on any matter not on the posted agenda are invited to do so. Please note, however, that the council is not able to undertake extended discussions or to act on non-agendized items. Such items can be placed with staff and referred to a future agenda item. This communication period is limited to 5 persons, 3 minutes each. Are there any members of the public that would like to speak on any item on the agenda that is wonderful, not on the agenda? Come on forward. It'd be nice to hear from you. That's it. Welcome.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Well, anyway, hi. My name is Maggie Betticray, and I live at 1040 Kenyatta Road. And I want to thank the council, first of all, for letting me have the mic for a few moments. And then I would also like to request that the members consider the need we have for crosswalk and lights at the northern end of Kenyatta Road. And I have my notes just to be clear. Okay. The reason for my request for this is because the residents, all of us who live at that end of Kenyatta, don't feel safe crossing the street, either crossing it onto the lovely pedestrian walkway that the town, you guys built for us, thank you, or coming back to homes going across the other way of Kenyatta. And we talk about this all the time. And the reason that we see, to us, the fact is that the cars and trucks coming off 280 going into town are still speeding when they come through our neighborhood. They don't see it as a neighborhood. And we feel unsafe. We feel unsafe because we have grandparents walking their grandbabies in strollers. We have moms and kids. We have all kinds of people who live in our neighborhood. And it's very dangerous for us. So anyway, I don't need to say any more, I don't think, but I would like to end by saying, okay, let's be proactive. Let's solve this problem. I know we've got some brilliant minds here. We can solve this problem, and that will prevent any tragedy in this area. And I also have a few minutes left, I mean, a few seconds left, and I would really like my supporter and person of great help, Heidi Brown, my neighbor, to say a few things that I forgot.
Before you go, I have a brief question for you.
Oh, yes, sorry.
So this is between Olive Hill and the 280, correct? It's not north of the 280.
No, you are absolutely correct, sir. I should have said that.
Because there's people who live on the other side of 282 that are still on Kenyatta, way up.
Yes,
much
you're
further.
right. But I guess I was just
Consider
considering.
you in town.
Oh, it's all your
You're
perspective.
sort of the midpoint. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maggie, can you give us just a little more color what you were thinking? Where on Kenyatta?
Thank
What's
you.
the crosswalk?
Yes.
Cross street?
If I can just have the liberty of
Of course.
imagining, I would say between Runnymede, you guys, if you know where that is,
Oh, we do.
Runnymede and a little bit before Olive Hill, because I know they have one a little past. But anyway, that was the area where maybe you guys could consider something that would work for us, make us safe.
Thank you very much. We
Sure.
will certainly bring this up with the circulation committee and see where it can be prioritized. We
You
appreciate it.
know, do I go to the circulation committee? I wasn't sure how that works.
We can go for you, but yeah, it will be helpful when this gets agendized there to speak
Okay.
as well.
So may Heidi Brown,
Absolutely, we can.
members?
Yeah, she can.
Okay.
Welcome, Heidi.
As advertised, I'm Heidi Brown. I live at 1032 Kenyatta Road. Thank you for all you do for Woodside, and thank you, gentlemen, for what you do for us. My son wears a badge, so. I enthusiastically endorse what Maggie just said. Cars start flying if they're going north after the stop sign at the Glens, and they fly down when they're coming south after that really fun turn, I guess, right? Kind of at Runnymede. The one thing I'd like to add is that I think my kids grew up here. We've lived here since 1988. It never felt safe to bike or walk to Woodside School, and now it does. The blinky light thing at the Fish was a game changer for so many kids. If you had walked by the bike parking lot at Woodside Elementary a couple years ago and walked past it yesterday, huge difference. Kids are trying to ride their bikes. It's wonderful. One of my grandsons, son, daughter-in-law, and grandsons live on our property. A couple of his friends come down from Jefferson. We wait outside to help them cross Kenyatta so they can go down we're on the coast side, cut behind Bucks, use the blinky light, and get to school. This is huge, huge for the school and huge for these kids. It instills independence and all those other wonderful things. I will also say I am a senior citizen. I lost my sight in my right eye. It terrifies me to cross Kenyatta Road with my big old dog. So I think this is a community service. It's not just for those of us that live between Olive Hill and Runnymede. So I wholeheartedly ask you to please consider this. I think it's a win-win, and I think you'll continue to keep seeing great benefits from that. We would like to collect signatures just to indicate the support for this, not in an antagonistic, but a very positive, supportive way. I should go into town hall and ask how we put that together and if there's a special format. We have 20 signatures already.
That's great.
And I have had a couple of my grandson's parents say, we'd like to sign that petition too. We don't live on Kenyatta, but the kids come through there. So I'll get direction from town staff. But thank you for considering this.
Thank you, Heidi. And yeah, I think the petition idea is a great idea. Council has invested a lot of money on safe routes and walkability. And
Indeed.
I think in my 7 years, I want to say there's been 4 or 5 blinky light crosswalks put in to help improve that. And so we'll
They're
keep it.
fantastic.
It's working.
They
Yeah,
are,
it's
and I'm
working.
seeing them in Atherton and Menlo Park, and
Right.
they're propping up everywhere, which to me means they really work and have an impact. So thank you
Wonderful.
for your consideration.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Tim Johnson. I live at 675 Kendall Avenue in Palo Alto. Before moving to Palo Alto, I lived for 15 years in the Grandview Espinosa neighborhood. I'm here to inquire why the town is doing nothing to collect from developer Steve Peterson the more than $30,000 he owes the town for its litigation expenses in connection with the case known as Langrock versus Town of Woodside. Here's the backstory. There was a dispute for over 10 years about the width of the Grandview Drive right-of-way. Mr. Peterson contended it was the width of the pavement, 18 feet. The neighbors contended it was 50 feet, which was in their deeds. 2 lawsuits resulted from this, one by Mr. Peterson against all of the neighborhood property owners. The second one by certain residents against the town of Woodside, which had ruled in his favor on the right-of-way issue. The net result of that was 2 judgments issued 2 years ago, finding 1, the town had no jurisdiction to rule on the right-of-way issue, and 2, that the right-of-way was 50 feet wide, as was shown by the overwhelming evidence. So in connection with this litigation, The town spent over $30,000 on its lawyer, who's sitting right here. That started accruing 3 years ago. It finished almost accruing about 2 years ago. The town appears to have taken no steps to try to collect this money from Mr. Peterson. It's not disputed that it's owed. It's clear in your ordinance that it's owed. I wrote the town commission or town council and the town manager in June, again in August, pointing all this out, no response. So the question is, why is the town not pursuing collection of this money from Mr. Peterson? I can tell you this, the residents in the neighborhood believed from the get-go that the staff was favorable to Mr. Peterson throughout this entire matter. The fact that the town is not trying to collect what it's owed only gives further credence to that perception. Thank you.
Thank you. So Jean, we'll turn to you on this. If my memory, which can be sometimes foggy, but as I recall, a lien perhaps was put on the property at sale, or what was the approach that we took post the lawsuit issue?
There is no lien against the property, but we have contacted both Mr. Peterson and his real estate agent, advised them that we will be making a demand into escrow when he sells the property. It was on the market. I don't believe it's on the market currently. We are also looking at the amount of money he has on deposit with the town, and we'll be contacting him about that as well.
Okay, so yeah, a couple of years have gone by, and I guess the fundamental question is whether or not we should be doing more. So if we, the net, though, what he has on file with us at the town is not going to offset that number, that's my guess.
I don't believe it will fully.
And in terms of communication with Mr. Peterson,
We have sent letters to Mr.
Letter.
Peterson, Mr. Peterson's real estate agent. We've indicated that because he chose not to come back before the council, as the court had given him the opportunity to do with a revised project, that he has no entitlements at all on that property. And as far as I understand, he's not made any further application in regard to development of that property.
and the reason we don't elevate it further is what? Because it's not a big enough sum to offset the cost of going after it? I mean, it's a diminishing return situation, so we have to wait for a transaction, or what is your thinking on that?
My thinking is this really is a question for the council, and it
Okay.
is a question that you can determine as whether you want to initiate litigation or not. And so discussing that further in public doesn't seem to be profitable to me, and particularly Mr. Peterson's not here.
If I may, a couple points.
Okay.
The property is not on the market.
Not anymore, right?
Secondly, should the property be transferred by gift, sale, death, whatever, the new owner has no obligation to the town at all. This is a personal obligation of Mr. Peterson. There's many the slip twixt the cup and the lip about trying to hold this property hostage to get this amount paid. It's amazing to me, to be honest with you, that as the town was being billed monthly for fees in this matter, that wasn't immediately billed to Mr. Peterson. Why do you let it ride? It's his obligation. And now here we are, 2 years later, and town's doing nothing.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate you elevating that.
Make a comment?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Johnson, first, thanks for your comments. We're prohibited from discussing this now because it's not on the agenda, which is why you could speak in public communications. But I want you to know something. We're aware of the situation. There's nothing you said. I mean, I just understand. We're well aware of it. We're very frustrated by it as well. We're going to look into it. We're going to see what we could do. There are some economic decisions that have to be weighed, like do we want to spend so much to go after it? If we could stop him from Actually shouldn't go further
All right.
because
Well,
of that.
one,
but-
you can't, unless, without a court judgment, you're not going to be able to lien the property, for
but
one.
I just want you to be assured, we're aware of
I'm-
this
I know you're aware, but I've
and
had,
we've seen the correspondence.
we've had radio silence from the town about what it's planning to do. And it's a disservice to the residents of that neighborhood who spent thousands of hours and over $100,000 in attorney's fees to defend that right of way, just to let this man skate.
I agree with you.
I would submit to you, there's a case to be made that any litigation to pursue collection of attorney's fees owed, you get your attorney's fees in that case.
Thank you, sir. Any, of course, any other comments for any item not on the agenda? Seeing none and seeing none in the Zoom room, we will close public comment and move on to our next agenda item, which is a proclamation for Fire Prevention Month. So I will now read that proclamation. So this is a proclamation honoring Fire Prevention Month, and a couple of whereases here. Whereas Woodside values the safety and well-being of all residents, businesses, and visitors in our community. And whereas fire remains a serious public safety risk, with the majority of deadly fires occurring in homes where people are asleep or otherwise unaware. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association, the national sponsor of Fire Prevention Week, has designated a theme for 2025 as Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-Ion Batteries in Your Home, to raise awareness of fire risks associated with lithium-ion batteries. And whereas the theme emphasizes the importance of safely buying, charging, and disposing and recycling lithium-ion batteries. And whereas homes increasingly rely on devices powered by rechargeable batteries, such as phones, laptops, e-bikes, power tools, and more. And whereas residents are urged to test smoke alarms monthly, maintain working smoke alarms in every bedroom and on every level of the home, and practice home fire escape plans, because even with the best precautions, fires can still occur. And whereas the Woodside Fire Protection District are resolutely committed to educating, preparing, and protecting our community from fire hazards, now therefore be it proclaimed on this 14th day of October 2025 that I, Brian Domkowski, Mayor of the Town of Woodside, do hereby proclaim the month of October as Fire Prevention Month in Woodside, and call upon all residents, businesses, schools, and civic organizations to support and participate in programs, events, and educational activities that promote fire safety. With that, we will move to the town manager report. Jason.
We do have the Woodside Fire Protection District here, so I'm not sure if one of them wanted to speak on this or if the.
Good evening, council.
Hi.
Thank you for having us this evening. I wanted to introduce our staff. This is Chief Tom Kusheri, Fire Inspector Mike Temez, and our Fuel Mitigation Supervisor Danny Dempsey. I'd like to say, good evening, honorable members of the council, guests, members of our community. On behalf of the Woodside Fire Protection District, we're honored to accept the proclamation recognizing the Fire Prevention Week and month. This declaration is more than a commemorative honor. It is a reminder of our shared responsibility to protect the lives and property of every resident, business, and visitor in our city. Fire prevention is not just a single week of activity, it's a daily commitment. It starts with education, planning, and preparedness in homes, workplaces, and schools. It means equipping our communities with the knowledge to prevent fires, the tools to respond effectively, and the discipline to practice safe habits every day. I want to acknowledge the courage and dedication of our firefighters, prevention division, and our staff members and partners who work tirelessly to keep us safe. Your training, vigilance, and service are the backbone of our Fire Prevention Week and a safer community. Thank you to the council for your leadership and to this community for your cooperation. We'll continue to work together through outreach, inspections, code enforcement, public education to reduce fire risk, ensure rapid, effective response when every second counts. In closing, I'd like to accept the proclamation with gratitude and renewed commitment to fire safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
No, it's fine.
Yay,
Yeah.
Woodside Fire.
Okay, Jason. All right. We'll jump over to town manager. Oh, yeah, we'll do a picture. Oh, all right.
We have the whole council.
So sure, yeah, we'll do a picture.
Quick picture with the council staff.
They're gonna want you in the front. I'll fit in the picture.
Great, okay. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. That should be good. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, of course.
Never be one up by Portola Valley. Okay, Town Manager Ledbetter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Woodside Town Council. This is Jason Ledbetter with the Town Manager Staff Report. So on Sunday, 10/5, I attended a couple different HOA barbecues here in the community, one up near Skylonda and then the other at Woodside Hills community, and was available to residents and discuss the TCAP and then just different projects that people wanted to talk about. On Sunday, October 12th, I attended the Day of the Horse event and worked the Town Center Area Plan booth with the planning director, Sage, and his son, which was a really exciting event to actually see first time. On Thursday, October 9th, I attended the Town Center Area Plan workshop at the Woodside Elementary School. On Wednesday, October 8th, Melissa and I attended the morning drop-off at Woodside Elementary School. We had been invited to participate as the town, and we gave away some Town of Woodside children's sunglasses to those children that had walked or rode their bike to school that morning. That's what the celebration was about. On October 1st, Councilmember Wall and I met with county staff and Supervisor Mueller to discuss the issues with the SMC alert system during the I-280 Edgewood fire. Supervisor Mueller volunteered to come and engage the community at a town hall if we were interested. And we have added this topic onto a town hall that was already in the process of scheduling for October 29th. So town staff have continued to work with council members and members of the public to highlight the issues at the Four Corners intersection of Highway 35 and Highway 84, as well as the issues that have arisen with the SMC alert system. So we have scheduled a town hall on Wednesday, October 29th from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. here in Independence Hall and via Zoom. Mailers will be going out. More information will be provided to each council member. At 5:30 p.m., we will have Caltrans present the possible infrastructure changes to the Four Corners intersection, and they will also take input and answer questions from the public at that time. And then this will be followed at 6:30 by Supervisor Mueller, San Mateo County Department of Emergency Management staff, the Sheriff's Office staff, and the Woodside Fire Protection staff will all be here to answer questions about the SMC alert system. And then finally, last two items here, the Public Works Maintenance crew is focused on cleaning out storm drains and culverts on town property. Obviously, it was my first experience with just how wet it gets here when it rains, and it was extremely wet yesterday. And so the recent rain, we're seeing the team is already transitioning from fire weather to flooding weather. And then finally, I want to congratulate Yazdin Imrani. He's taken a position down in Southern California. We're making this public announcement. The council has already been made aware of this, but this will be Yaz's final meeting, and I wanted to kick it over to him since he spent the last 2 years here.
All right. Thank you very much, Jason. And I wanted to take this opportunity to really say that it's been an honor and privilege really serving as your Public Works Director and Town Engineer the past couple of years. Enjoyed the collaboration, enjoyed working with you, collaboration with town staff, and I'm gonna definitely miss it. And again, it's been great, and wish the town and the staff continued success in future years.
You too.
Well, and yeah, on behalf of the council, thank you for your many contributions over your tenure, and wish you very well in the next chapter of your career in life. And I know you're going to be closer to family, and we will miss working with you, but hopefully we can all stay in touch. And we, again, best of luck in your future endeavors.
Very much.
The only one-liner is I'm out of the country during that town hall period. So not that it matters that much, but if others can be there, obviously.
What do you need from us
Yeah.
for that meeting?
I have 2 council members interested, already engaged. Councilmember Wall really for the SMC alert, and then Councilmember Abarish
Okay.
for the Caltrans meeting. Both are engaged and I believe will be in attendance. And so you're welcome to attend otherwise, but I think as far as council member coverage, I think we're covered.
I just add, I think advertising the town hall to your constituents would be really appreciated because I think it's, the more people, the better for a town hall.
Get the word out.
Okay. All right. Any other questions or comments for Jason? All right, hearing none, we will move on to appointments. So we've got 2 of them tonight. And I'll hand it off to the sub-appointment committee.
So we have 2 appointments this evening. We have an application for the circulation committee and one for the emergency preparedness committee. The subcommittee on appointments reviewed these applications and agreed that both applicants should be appointed. The applicant for the circulation committee is M. Walker Wells, and the applicant for the emergency preparedness committee is John Castor. So with that, I would move to approve these 2 applicants for those respective committees.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Brown,
Yes.
Councilmember Gold,
Yes.
Councilmember Wall,
Yes.
Mayor Domkowski.
Yes. Welcome aboard.
Congratulations.
Uh,
Served well.
yeah. And you can carry the crosswalk request forward at your first meeting. We'll move on to the consent agenda. All items on the consent are considered to be routine and will be approved by one roll call motion unless a request is made at the beginning of the meeting that an item be withdrawn or transferred to the regular agenda. Are there any items that any member of the council would like to pull for further discussion?
Number 3.
Number 3, okay.
I'll move approval of 1 and 2.
Excellent.
Second that.
Councilmember Brown,
Well, yes.
Councilmember Gold,
Yes.
Councilmember Wall, Mayor Domkowski.
Yes, and then over to you, Councilmember Brown, and number 3.
Yes, the question is this the same group that did the work for us last year?
That's a great question. I'm assuming that it is. I'm gonna have to kick it over to the Public Works Director. This is the same outfit that provides us with the plan check reviewers, the code enforcement officer, and the building officials that do the inspection.
My only reason for the question is I'd like to understand, is this, I don't know how this quote compares to a year ago. Is it the same? Is it much higher? How much higher? Lower?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, yes, this is the same company that provided us with the construction inspection last year as well. Their prices is higher than last year, as is the case with all things public works related, unfortunately. But it's essentially one of the requirements of our permit to perform these inspections. And since we don't have the staff in-house to do it, we turn to consultants such as CSG for the services.
How much higher?
I believe this is about $15,000 or $20,000 higher.
Higher?
Yes.
It's over 20-25% higher.
Yeah.
Have we thought about?
Maybe a 15,000. Yeah.
That seems to me outrageous to get 25% increase in a fairly straightforward service. Have we thought about getting a separate quotes?
We did not get any additional quotes. The reason we stayed with these, with the same companies, these are very specialized inspections and they're already familiar. They already prepare our annual NPDES reports that we submit. So basically, instead of bringing somebody else on board that has to learn about our system and everything, which would presumably they add to their cost, we decided to stay with the outfit that knows our system and has done the inspection last year as well, and would submit a successful report on our behalf to the board.
I'm not sure I would agree with that philosophy, but that's up to you, what you want to do there. That's, I mean, it just seems awful high. At the very least, we should at least get, I'd like to see us get a quote for somebody else too. Just to see if we're way, if they're right in the ballpark or not.
We currently, I'm just started holding a monthly meeting with CSG. We had our first meeting last week. That kind of was instigated with the departure of the Public Works Director and just trying to have a better feel for what's going on in the building department. One thing I would say is that ultimately, one of the complaints that you hear of in the United States is that it's so complicated to get a building permit. And so ultimately, I see bifurcating this inspection with a third company and adding them into the construction process in Woodside would be very negative for members of the public. And so ultimately, I think we can go back and make sure that we're keeping CSG honest, but I think it benefits the members of the public if the service and the inspections are done by the same outsourced company.
I'd just like to at least note for the record for next time around, if they go up for quote again, I think we want to look very, very hard at them coming up with another 10, 20, 25% increase. That's just outrageous.
Absolutely, we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Dick. You want to make a motion?
No.
No. Okay.
I'll move to approve agenda item 3.
Okay, we have a second?
Councilmember, Councilmember Brown,
No.
Councilmember Gold, Councilmember Wall, Mayor Domkowski.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business item A, resolution authorizing the town manager to execute a professional service agreement with the Woodside Fire Protection District, formalizing the Woodside Fire Fuel Mitigation and Chipper programs. And off to you, Jason.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Woodside Town Council. This is Jason Ledbetter, the town manager. So I've got two different programs here that I want to talk about. The first one is the Woodside Fire Protection District Chipper Program. So the town council has already approved and budgeted to fund this program. This agreement in front of you really focuses on fire fuel mitigation program that we want to add, but that ultimately you're not adding this costs of $47,843 onto the town. It's already been approved, and we're just formalizing the chipper program tonight with the opportunity to add the fire fuel mitigation program at the same time. And so the Woodside Fire Fuel Mitigation Program, this portion of the agreement is for new and added services to remove vegetation from town-owned property as well as the right-of-way. Some prescribed activities would include tree limbing for ladder fuel removal, habitat-sensitive vegetation management, species-specific management to reduce sudden oak death, tree thinning, and selective removal. The project objectives are to reduce hazardous fuels to prevent wildfire ignition and spread, implement ecologically responsible fuel treatments that support native habitat conservation, establish and maintain shaded fuel breaks while preserving biodiversity and minimizing environmental impact, and ensure compliance with fire district standards, local ordinances, and applicable state environmental regulations. So to accomplish these deliverables, the town would pay a not to exceed amount of an added $89,900.66 for the current fiscal year for 1,920 hours of labor. The work will be completed by a 6-person crew for a total of 40 days of work with each 6-person crew. Town staff will work with the Woodside Fire Protection District to plan which town properties and rights of way are priority. I believe that the fire marshal has already worked with staff, with members of the staff and members of the community, prioritizing some ingress egresses for evacuation that they would focus on. And then more recently, I've met with members of the community and then took a walk across the street here and went up behind Sprig and Sprite. And I think that there's definitely some vegetation removal that needs to happen up there. There's some trees that are down and a bunch of vegetation back further behind the statues. And so we would consistently work with the fire marshal on an annual basis to determine what the best use of this funding was and where we should focus the funding. That's all I have.
Okay, great. Any questions for Jason? Yes, sir.
Sure. Who is going to be deciding what projects they take on and the priorities of their work? The work is that going to be, is that fire going to decide that, or are we going to tell them Public Works? How is that going to work?
Yeah, that would be between myself and then ultimately, I think this would be really more the fire marshal, I think, is managing this, so Kim. And so we would work with her. And I really see a huge opportunity here as we look at individual evacuations for neighborhoods. But I want to utilize this service when we bring these Firewise communities in and these other communities we want to make Firewise, that we have the fire marshal there. We have this tool that we can then go spread this tool within the communities based off of what their desire is, and then also ultimately what the fire marshal is advocating for us to do. So it will be a group effort, and ultimately we will have the last deciding determination on whether or not the work does actually get done. But I would assume that we will be listening to members of the public as well as the fire marshal herself. And then we ultimately, since we pay the contract, will have the final say.
It's a great program. I've loved this program from the beginning, so I'm just curious how it's going to run. Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions?
I just had one question.
sir.
I think this program sounds amazing. As I was reading through the staff packet and just the background section, first bullet point talks about reducing hazardous fuels to prevent wildfire ignition and spread. And then it says particularly near evacuation routes and populated areas. And I just wanted to confirm, like, in your mind, does this include the areas along highways? I know the most recent fire that started along 280, and then there was, I think, a subsequent ignition that could have, also caused a fire, but was put out really quickly. And then we have, Highway 84 running through town. So I just wanted to make sure that, like, does Highway 84 and 280 constitute an evacuation route in a populated area, or might it be worthwhile to, like, call out highways specifically?
I think that we will end up, depending on what happens here in the future, we may end up with a maintenance agreement for a lot of Highway 84, which technically we would have to take a look at that maintenance agreement, which would put our responsibility hypothetically could be on the right of way, depending on the maintenance agreement that's brought forward. But right now, we would not be able to, without a third party, guarantee the accessibility of the Caltrans right of way by ourselves or the Woodside Fire Protection District. But I think you're raising a really good point. We had advocated and we continue to advocate to Caltrans. We have been utilizing their computer system for vegetation requests for removal. But people come into my office, we're still working on somebody over for Lindenbrook on the I-280 that you're referring to. But we just did the oak trees here in between Chevron and the Kenyatta corners that was growing into the bike lane, and they responded to that. And so based off of what you're stating to me, I think that the fire chief has a really remarkable relationship with Caltrans, and a bunch of vegetation removal was done after the 280 Edgewood fire. And so, or was committed to, maybe not completed yet, but we will work with the Woodside Fire Protection District and then leverage our elected relationships to try to inspire Caltrans to get on those properties and clean them up. But we would need Caltrans to agree to allowing access now, so we couldn't hypothetically dictate that the Woodside Fire Protection District could work on those. But I believe, I'm sorry for this long-winded answer, Councilman, but I believe that if we were to get Caltrans's agreeability, that we would be able to work within this contract with the Woodside Fire Protection District to allow that work to get done. But Tom, I'm not sure how you feel about that.
Yeah, Tom Kishari, Fire Chief. Yeah, we'll have to work, collaborate with the town, with Caltrans and Woodside Fire to go ahead and remove the right-of-way vegetation that is, bringing this to light, because we have reached out on numerous occasions and they're a little bit slower to respond, and we need to take some more action with that. So we'll be working with them to try to get these matters taken care of. It's
Quick follow-up on that. Maybe from like maybe this is a question for Jean. Would it be possible to approach it from a legal angle and be like, we're getting this professional services agreement in place in connection with that? Do you think we could get a waiver that we could attach to the agreement that would, a waiver from Caltrans, giving us the right to remove vegetation in their right of way? Then you could say, hey, we just want to, attach it as an exhibit to the agreement so that the parties are all aligned that this could happen. And would that, could you see that as a way to expedite this process?
We could try and do that. I'm not sure it'll expedite with Caltrans, but we can try.
Always try. Okay, thank you.
Just a comment for what it's worth, Caltrans was out in force on Saturday, rushing the southbound 280. So they are responding some level. Any other questions or comments? Okay, then we will close questions for staff and jump over to any public comments on this issue. Not seeing any, we will move on to any deliberation from council. Anybody have anything else to add into the mix here? Good agenda item. Okay, I think with that, we would entertain a motion to approve item A.
All right, I move to approve the resolution authorizing the town manager to execute a professional services agreement with the Woodside Fire Protection District, formalizing the Woodside Fire Fuel Mitigation and Chipper programs.
Second.
Councilmember Brown?
Yes.
Councilmember Gold? Councilmember Wall? Mayor Domkowski?
Yes, thank you. Great program. Okay, moving on to volunteer committee updates.
I have none at this time.
Got a big event on Friday, of course.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock volunteer appreciation event. And I'm told by Melissa there are 85 people expected to come, so should be a good turnout. And any council communications?
Two things.
Yes, sir.
One, I attended the Woodside Fire Chili Cook-Off, or Bake-Off, I guess, excuse me. Last Sunday, it was fantastic. I mean, there's a huge crowd, food was great. They did tours of the property, just a terrific job. Congratulations for that. And we had a senior workshop down in Atherton, which is a joint between Atherton, Woodside, and Petrola Valley. It was about how do you make the housing decisions you need to make when you're having a change of life in your household. And it was like 100 people there, very well attended. I spent a lot of time talking to the Atherton mayor. They'd like to do other joint events. Either we work them together or we simply notify each other that an event is occurring, so we can let their community know that there's something that might be of interest to them as well. We have these things going on all the time. They have many events going on. And it just means that it makes a lot of sense as far as I'm concerned. Do you guys agree this is something we ought to continue to pursue?
Sure. And
Okay.
of course, thank you, Councilmember Brown. You have been really leading the charge on these community events, and it's impressive. So thank you. Sorry to have missed this last one. Kids were in town, but
Your absence was noted.
yeah,
Noticed that
I've made most of them. But okay. Anything else from folks?
Maybe just one more plug for the town hall on October 29th. I think we'll have lots of local representatives there. And so if we could get the word out to our constituencies, I think, I believe the town will be posting on Nextdoor. I know a mailer is going out. Really, we're hitting all of the communication levers we currently have. So hopefully we'll have some good attendance.
Do an email blast to my loyal constituents and also to the homes associations. Dick has two.
Yeah.
They have great communication issues, so capability. So we'll do that and get.
And then Jason, you'll be sending around kind of a draft email that the council members can send out, right?
Sorry about that. Before the week's over, I'll get you the agenda and I'll get a package together for you that we kind of had discussed, that it will be kind of ready for you guys just to turn around and put your name on and send out.
The postcard is usually the postcard is usually very.
I'll get you
It
that.
usually has a little QR code on it too. So-
Yeah.
Okay. We'll get it out.
I've got some great news to share for the Runnymede Raimundo neighborhood. For many, many years, we have advocated to bring high-speed internet to that neighborhood. They and Old La Honda Road, if you go back 6, 7 years ago when we worked on that, sort of got skipped along the way of deployment years ago, decades ago. Jason and I were able to do a call with AT&T, who's doing survey work on that road, and they will be bringing high-speed residential internet to that entire neighborhood by the summer of 2026. So that was obviously very well received by those folks, and it's just a huge win. So it's just one of those things when you work and advocate for something for 7 years, and then of course this is happening independent of any of our advocacy. It's just they got a wonderful grant to do some work in underserved areas, and they chose that neighborhood. So it's just a wonderful heads up on that.
By the time it's installed, it'll be on,
Yeah, that's true.
it'll be on some
Well,
new tech.
we'll all be on Starlink by then. And then just a one-liner, I won't be at the next meeting, so it's the first meeting I'll miss for the year, but Mayor Pro Tem Gold has graciously agreed to take the gavel at the next meeting on the 28th, the highly coveted gavel. So I thank you for that, and
Plan on using it.
that's right. And
Great gusto.
of course, looking forward to seeing all you folks this weekend, both at the volunteer event and the annual mayor's dinner. So I think with that, we will call it. Thank you.